Now, on the subject of COVID-19, public health expert and adjunct professor at New York University, Nana Kofi Quakyi, is warning that Ghana will soon see a surge in cases after the clear disregard for safety protocols during Christmas and New Year celebrations. He is of the view that Ghana may need to impose a lockdown soon, like South Africa and Zimbabwe, if the current attitude towards safety protocols does not change. Despite President Akufo-Addo's announcements that beaches, pubs and nightclubs remained closed during the Yuletide, JoyNews' checks revealed that the directive was largely ignored. Speaking on Prime Morning on Joy Prime TV, Nana Kofi Quakyi said this was precarious and will result in a strike.
Lockdown is not a cure. It's a temporary treatment for a pandemic, and the goal there is to use the time it affords you to slow down the community spread, to scale up your actual public health response through testing and contact tracing so you can actually catch up with where the virus is. So it's necessary in countries where they're acknowledging, the reality that they're facing, that transmission is going on at a very high rate and infections are happening at a very high rate. They're trying to impose a circuit breaker, which is terminology we've heard in the UK and the US, to really slow down that kind of spread. After the season we've had in December, we will see a lot of community spread, which we already know is happening from what Wagdip and Noguchi have told us. So I'm not entirely comfortable with the current state of affairs, but I do think that there are still things we can do outside of a lockdown that can slow things down. But if we do not do those things to use the behavioral variables, the fact that mass gatherings are happening, indoor gatherings are happening, parties are happening, clubs are opening. The fact that we know those things are there, if those things don't change, then this becomes inevitable at a point if we really are serious about keeping the pandemic at bay. Sorry.
Right, and he went on to say that the new variant of the disease has already crossed our borders. He believes government should quarantine all persons who fly into the country and not just those who test positive for the virus, as announced by President Akufo-Addo in his 21st address to the nation yesterday.
That's just something that I believe Dr. Seydou Bekoin said on a show I was with one of your colleagues a couple months ago, actually, where he pointed out that they weren't certain if all the tests that were coming in were actually PCR. So there are some questions there, but that's why many of us, right from the beginning, were hoping that as part of their arrival routines, would have a quarantine in place for all arrivals, 7 days or something of that sort, to make sure we have a buffer against importation of more cases or new strains. Because in this case, what we are trying to defend against really are the new strains or the new variants that have been detected in the United Kingdom and in South Africa. But in the United Kingdom's case especially, it's important for us to know that it's not a strain that necessarily originated there. That's not what the scientists are saying. The UK just happens to have, along with South Africa, some of the highest genomic surveillance efforts during COVID-19. So they are just more likely to find a new strain if they import one. So we don't exactly know where it came from. And frankly, given how many countries recently have detected similar strains in their own country, the UK strain or South Africa strain, it would be kind of a stretch to assume that we don't have any of this in Ghana at all. Maybe we have it in small numbers.
Okay.
But given the low genomic surveillance we've been doing, with great gratitude to Wagdip for really carrying that effort, it's hard to say that we don't exactly have that. So many of the measures here that we're talking about kind of feels like bolting the door after the horse is bolted. And in this case, we have to make sure that all the measures really actually would have an impact on reducing that risk there. So yes, people are coming in and are going to be isolated, which is a good thing. But we have to also bear in mind that of the ones arriving, the antigen testing we're doing at Kotika is designed to catch only about 83% of the actual positive cases. So if you're not adding a quarantine, some people are going to slip through the cracks still. So it's progress, but there's still work to be done to make sure that we have a more effective and waterproof system.